Hi everyone, this is Marina from Frocks and Frolics, and I'm going to show you how you can turn a Peter Pan collar into an asymmetrical collar. The reason being that one of my Facebook friends wanted to make the Vivian dress for her daughter, and you can see it blended in here. It turned out absolutely spectacular, but she didn't want the standard collar, which is a Peter Pan collar that I've got here. She wanted the asymmetrical collar that you also get when you make the teen version of this dress, because she really loved it. So I said, let me make a video and show everyone how that's done. It's not hard to do, and then I'll send it to you and you can make it, which is exactly what she did. And the result of this you can see here blended in on the side. Absolutely stunning stuff. So let's get started. Here you can see I've got my bodice pieces. Now these don't have to be mine, obviously, that works for any bodice. So the first thing to do when you want to amend your collar is to put together your front and back. The seam allowance on mine is 1 centimeter. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark 1 centimeter here and here, and then connect the lines. I'll do the same on the other side, and then I can overlap them, right? And that way I know that whatever changes I make to my collar, they're going to come out right. So let's do this here as well. 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, connect them. And now I can line them up. Whoops, other way around, like this. And I'm going to sellotape this together. So you always need to have a sellotape ready, your little pencil, sharpener, ruler, bit of paper, and off you go. This is a really simple technique, and I'm excited to show it actually, because I have not done as many YouTube videos as I have done in the past, because I'm so busy with setting up 2 websites. One is an academy site, like a sewing school, and the other one is the sales shop, and I'm tired. Anyway, this is back to what we want to do here. And I'm just gonna show you the collar here, how this fits on. You've got another centimeter seam allowance here, so if I put this onto the center front, you can see it fits almost exactly on, with only a little bit of a distance here in this area. Now, one thing is very important when you are amending collars, that you understand. Peter Pan collar that lies really flat and is almost like on a blouse will have very little distance. The more distance you've got, the more the collar will round itself around the neckline. And so on this one, it has got not quite as much, it's only a little bit here. Once you've taken the seam allowance off the end here, you can see it's actually not very much. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have it rolling over a little bit more than this does. And the way to do that is very, very simple. We're going to reduce the length on the outside, and therefore if you reduce the length, what you will find is that it will do this. It'll naturally roll. Can you see what it does automatically when you pinch it? So to get this effect, I'm going to cut it here, here, and here, and then we're going to overlap it. And if you have a pattern cutting book, it usually sort of says, oh, for a collar like this, it should be 1.5 overlap. My overlap is way less on this particular one, because it still worked. But if it doesn't work, if you have a pattern from one of those lovely PDF designers which looks really cute but the collar keeps peeping up, all you need to do is to change how much it overlaps here, and it'll sit perfect. So that's how you get around that. It's just a little bit, you know, there's no rocket science to this. I'm overlapping this by about 0.5 or just under, maybe 0.3. I want it to really roll and fit super duper, especially because it's an asymmetric collar. I don't want this to go like flopping up. Right, so do it on this side as well. There we go. See how this veers off much more. That's about the distance you want to get. So if I measure this, it is 1.5 centimeter, and that is perfect. So if you want a collar that rolls a little bit more, that's what you want to go for. So at the moment it's a Peter Pan collar, but actually now we want the collar to end in a different place. We want it to be asymmetrical, and we want it to end kind of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this out again with a sheet of paper, so very simple, especially in the small sizes. This is not hard to do, and that gives you a much better idea. And just draw around it. So now I've got both of these. I'm going to go back to the drawing board, and I'm going to use this one as the one that comes round. So I'm just going to put this on as well with that centimeter overlap, and here too, just so I get an idea what that actually looks like in, you know, when I look at both of them, and so I get the right point. And I probably want it to be, well, what's that, about 1, 2, 3 centimeters lower than the shoulder. You want it to be kind of here, right? It's not such a big distance. So if my shoulder point is here, I want to go down 3 centimeters. Actually, I'm going to go down 2 centimeters actually, or 2.5, because it looked a bit much. So if I go down 2.5 here, that would give me the line that these two collars will overlap. And so now I'm going to take this one here where I've got my overlapping, and I'm going to join them, put some paper behind it again. That might be a good idea, might not. Okay, so here's where it's getting interesting. I'm going to put these babies together, but in order to make sure that I haven't moved anything, I just want to make sure that that will work. So if I move this over to the other side, that they have this right, yeah. So to summarize this, what you want to make sure is that you've got them on here, not like skew width or anything, but totally straight. And there we go. There's my, and then I'm going to just sellotape this down. If you're in any way unsure, you take your front piece, there it is, whatever bodice you have got, line it up here, draw a line down, slot it over to the other side, there we go, and you can see then whether or not you've put it on straight, right? It's really not rocket science. So I've got that there. Now the next step is I'm going to also do my tips here, and now I can just merge these lines. There we go. I want to change it in a minute just for the shape on this one if I want to. Not necessary, but I can do. That's great. Now I'm going to decide what kind of shape will go on it. But first I'm going to cut it. I'm going to be really brave, and I'm going to cut this right across. So here not only are we going to add a little shape to it, something like that, so that we can put our button on and it sits right on the center of what we decided will be the asymmetric closure. I'm gonna draw my huge button that's going to go on here, and I want this to look like that. Now if that's the case, from what I've drawn, I want to go up 1 more centimeter. That's my seam allowance. I don't need the centimeter seam allowance there, I only need it there. So I'm going to come up here, which will feel a little bit weird, right? And I'm going to draw a really nice shape there. So sellotape this down and cut it out. Whoops, actually put a little bit more on here as well. There we are. So, and that would be one side of my collar already done. See, that's not really that hard, is it? I've got my collar done here. And now comes the next one. So obviously, remember, this goes to that point. And we have got, if I just go like, we have got the button coming over this way, which means this part here also needs to come over. And I want it to be almost the same as this one. So all you have to do is sellotape it down, take the bit you've already done. Maybe you want to fold it again if you can't see where you have added something to it. Put it onto your collar here and draw around it. So now I've got two ends which are exactly the same here, and which will then fit on top of each other. Right, so I'm going to just cut this one. And you can always, you know, change your mind or change things around once you've done this, but basically should be okay. So I'm going to take my collar now, here and here, and if I line these two up on top of each other, that's exactly where it was. All we need to make sure is that none of it will show, that sort of no edges come out. And I'm going to have this going over the top, not that way around, the other way around. The one thing I am not happy, because I moved this up, I've got this sort of bend in my collar here at the top, and if you can see it, there's a tiny bend here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim that off to make sure it's a really nice curve. And then of course, if I do it on the one side, I have to do it on the other side as well. And I'm just going to cut around here. That's it. The other option, of course, would be to just place these on top of each other. We can do that as well. Let's do it properly, Missy. And that would go to, I quite like this actually. This is looking good. So I'm just going to take these and I'm going to do it in one go, like that. Oh, that's gorgeous. So now I've got a perfect little collar. I'm going to pin this together now so that we can get, whoops, a nice idea just where it goes. And then it's going to go around the body like that. And that's the collar. And I need to now decide whether I personally think that this is the right place for it or not. I actually have to say, if this comes down, let's just see. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Yep, I think that's very good. The pattern that Emily used here is the Vivian, and here are just a few pictures of how she transformed her Vivian dress into something so spectacular. She used the pleated circle skirt of the Vivian, and then as lining she used the plain circle, and she cut it off a little bit higher, and then she added a really good ruffle to it. About 4 yards and 20, I think she said she put in there, so that it's a massive ruffle going all the way around. She covered her own buttons as well. That's a beautiful feature, I think. And then she used the 3/4 length sleeve with a turn up. And I think she did a really great job. I hope you enjoyed this, and I see you soon again. And thank you, Emily, for making such a wonderful dress and making it with my little pattern. See you next time.